And we're live. Okay. So last time, um, we did some talking about Ren's visions that were given to him by the ring. Uh, we also discussed and then investigated the lead that Zerka gave to Call about the light hands trying to muscle in on a landlord, a noble who is a landlord. Um, after while going to investigate, a small tiefling child was spotted running around to other groups of children who, after speaking, then ran away. Um, and then the group spoke to what was the man's name? Uh, Lobbit Petal, uh, the landlord, who once again reiterated that he had it taken care of. Upon leaving the um, upon leaving his office, sorry, getting chat open. Upon leaving his office, there were some sounds heard that turned out to be a bunch of undead, um, of the ethereal kind, less not the bony kind. Um, After doing battle, uh, the Henry went to go tell the guards about it, and Ren and Call stayed invisible to spy on what Mr. Petal would do. They caught eyes on a pair of dwarves coming to reclaim a metal device, um, talking about there being too many of the undead, um, and Mr. Petal frantically lowering his rates again. Uh, and then, upon hearing a sound, ran outside with a bag of money. Um, and we left off with our heroes headed back to their rooms. Yes, I think y'all had. I know that that Henry was already like kind of gone. Call and Ren had just escaped from the office.
Um, Call had been invisible outside watching the people, and Ren said, "Meet you back in the courtyard," and left, but Call has not left the area yet.
Okay, so what is Call doing?
Call wants to very carefully look around and see if they can spot head or tail of the tiefling girl.
The Tiefling girl. Okay. Um, it has been a while since y'all got here. Throughout the waiting period y'all had, and also the investigation done by the guards, y'all got here like an hour and 15 ago. Um, so it's been a little while, but go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. That would be 28.
Cool. um,
Get fucked!
I mean, shit. Uh, yeah, you. Um, okay, so Henry and the guards came from a northerly direction. That's also the direction the two dwarves came in. After the dwarves got their little metal device, they headed to the east. Um, you are currently to the east of the office because that's where the door was to that you helped Ren get out of. Um, so you take a very careful look around, and off in an eastern direction, uh, you see behind some crates that are piled against one of the houses. Peeking just over the tip of it are some red-tipped horns.
Um, so approximately how long has it been since Call was turned invisible?
Invisibility lasts an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say you have like 10 minutes left. at most.
They've been invisible that long?
Yes, because like I said, it's been an hour and 15 minutes since y'all got here. The fight took like a couple minutes. Then
Okay.
Henry took about 15 minutes there and 15 minutes back to bring the guards. So you have 10 to 15 minutes left on your invisibility. Yeah.
Okay, so soon, but Call's not expecting that it's going to expire in the next couple of seconds or anything like that.
Correct. And I think that you'll even you'll know a little bit before it goes off. Um Normally people give that advantage to the people casting the spell, but I think it's dumb if you can't feel the spell effect leaving. So you wouldn't just suddenly be visible and not know it. Is
Okay.
what.
Okay. In that case, Call is going to try to approach the tiefling girl. Um, is is the rooftop structure something that Call could easily navigate, or does that look like it would be a difficult terrain to cross quietly?
It would be difficult to cross quietly. You're pretty good at stealth, so it's possible. But I will say that the roads between the houses are never more than 10 feet apart or 10 feet wide. Um, so like that is a doable jump, but it is a jump. So
Okay. In that case, it's probably not worth it because the likelihood of making a sound while landing is still too high, even if you make the landing. So Call's going to go ahead and climb down because they were, or no, they are already down because they helped run.
correct.
So Call's not going to get back up or anything like that. Call's just going to quietly try to not get like super close to the tiefling girl, but get within full line of sight.
Okay, roll me a stealth check.
Okay. 21.
And then she will have to make a perception check with, or no, she doesn't know to look for you, so she's not making a check. It would just be her passive. So you are fairly certain that she does not notice you as you approach. As you like round a corner uh, to get into full line of sight of her, you see her crouching down um, with her face to these crates, and you realize now that you're much closer to them, there's a little bit of hole, like slats, a little bit of space between the slats, that you figure she probably has a bit of a view through these crates toward the office building.
Okay. Um, Call is going to. Does she look like she has any intention of moving anytime soon? Or is that something Call can't even tell?
I mean, you can make an insight check.
Sure. 14.
Um, she shifts slightly every little bit. Uh, she looks like she is waiting for something before she will move.
Okay. Invisible or not, Call's gonna try and find a slightly more tucked away area to observe her from. Um, they don't want to climb the roof just yet because they expect that she'll move and then they're gonna have to follow. But if she decides to stay for a while, Call doesn't want to be caught out in the open.
Okay. That's easy enough. I will let your stealth roll carry over for that because you are
Okay.
essentially just hiding. Um,
Yeah.
After a little bit, I'm gonna let your fucking 28 perception roll carry over as well. You hear Petal yelling. You can't really make out the words. He's a couple houses over, and you don't like have a line to him, so it's a little muffled. But he sound like he is yelling questioningly. Um, and then after a few more seconds, he rounds a corner to where he is like in the same alleyway as you are. Um, and you hear him basically just yelling, "Where are you? I it's a misunderstanding. I just want to talk." He's still carrying this bag, kind of this bag of coins, just kind of walking around, looking. He is looking for something, so I will make a perception check for him. You got a 21 on stealth.
Yes. But
Yeah.
Call's also stationary right now, so invisible and not moving.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Uh, the invisible gives him disadvantage. So,
Yeah.
yep. He doesn't look at your hiding space for more than half a second as he is scanning around, and then he walks to the next alley. Um. Uh. What do you do?
Did the tiefling girl react?
Give me a perception check.
17.
Well, I guess she will have to stealth. I don't have a. You know what? Where is it? Where is it?
What are you looking for?
The dice to roll for her.
I know, but which dice is it?
Just because her like fiendish parts are red. This one that has the little red.
I thought so. Yeah.
You said 17.
Yeah.
I already rolled and I re-rolled. I'm not gonna take that second roll. I'm gonna take the first one. You see, she is not in the position that she was in previously. Because if she had been there when he rounded that corner into the alleyway, he would have had a clear line of sight on her. But she has somehow silently moved over the boxes and hid behind them on the far side from him.
Call's impressed.
But she is still kind of standing there. I will let your 14 insight carry over as well because I'm letting all your other shit carry over. She looks really confused by him coming by and shouting. Like she doesn't understand what's going on.
Okay. Call is gonna hesitate for a minute, like I am, while deciding whether to stick with the tiefling girl or follow Petal. I think Call is going to stick with the tiefling girl for now, and if it sounds like Petal stops searching, Call might try to like sneak over and see if he found who he was looking for.
I'm sorry. What was the thing that? What was the if?
Oh, because Petal didn't sound like he was being quiet. So if Petal suddenly goes quiet or starts sounding like he found who he was looking for, Call is at that point going to sneak over and go try to see that.
So you're sticking with the tiefling unless he suddenly goes quiet.
Yeah, like suddenly goes quiet. Okay. Like if it just sounds like he's like, ugh, I give up, I think Call's just gonna.
Okay. He is still kind of shouting. He's not moving away from you very quickly. You kind of hear on repeat the same things of like, I just want to talk. I'm sorry, it was a misunderstanding. At about this time, never mind. So yeah. After a little bit, the tiefling girl looks like she's about to head off. She's made some decision and is about to leave.
Call's going to assess as she leaves if it is safe to follow her. but their intent is to follow her.
Okay. She takes a good look around. And then she very carefully slinks off, goes a little bit south, and then starts heading east. Give me a stealth check as you follow her.
Okay. Roll good, baby. That would be a 21.
All right. Sticking with the 21. Gotcha. So yeah. Also give me a perception check because she's trying to be sneaky.
Okay. 29.
All right. She's doing a pretty good job of being sneaky, but you are on her like glue. She occasionally stops and looks around. I'm not doing extra checks for it, but she is being very, very careful. Again, this is like a 9-year-old, but she knows what she's doing. My wife is laughing very hard at me. I can hear her through the wall. But so like she's doing stuff that Zerka taught you like a couple weeks ago. When Zerka like took you under her wing for that couple weeks period that ended up in you getting the observant feat. She's like doing some of that shit. And going very quickly, and you notice that at certain alleyways she stops and takes a peek down, and then once you catch up to her at that same alleyway, you look down and you see Petal almost every time that she stops and looks down an alley.
Okay.
Until at one point she looks down the alley and doesn't see him, and then just steps out into the street and starts walking casually. You follow her for a good ways. I'm going to say you follow her long enough to get a sense of where she's going. She is headed towards the industrial district.
Okay. Call wants, if possible, to follow her to like a specific destination. But is not willing to risk blowing cover. So they're gonna follow her as long as it seems safe to do so.
Okay. Okay. She is not in any hurry, and it is going like the direction she's headed is the industrial district, and also given the little bit that you know of where the light hands are, but the industrial district is further away than you have time left on invisibility. You can still attempt to follow her, but you will lose invisibility if she is going all the way to the industrial district.
I think it's midday, right? Because it was
so.
before. Yeah,
it was just before lunch. So we're pushing. We're nearing to. No. We're like 1:30.
Yeah, so it's like around lunchtime.
Yeah.
So it's not like the streets are abandoned.
While you're still in the rent district, yes, they are. You have started seeing a couple kids again now that you're a ways away from Petal's office. You've seen 2s, 3s, 4s groups of kids, but every once in a while you'll see like a much older person, but you're not seeing anyone of working age.
Okay. Honestly, I think Call is willing to risk it because by the time the invisibility drops, they'll be presumably closer to the industrial district where people will be, getting lunch, on a break from work, that sort of thing, and so they'll have the opportunity of crowd coverage. Um, so, I think Call's willing to risk it.
With that, I will say, as invisibility drops, give me one more stealth check.
Okay, work for me, please, baby. That would be a 17.
Yeah. Okay. As you're going, the girl is not like going with purpose. Like every once in a while, she'll stop, hardly even stop, more like slow to just trade a couple words with some of the kids as she passes. Like it seems like she knows these other kids. At least as much as a kid is willing to talk to another kid. So, as you're following, you do finally get to kind of the border of the two districts, which is it rather abruptly goes from wooden and thatched buildings to solid stone structures. And as you're getting there, the crowds do start getting much more numerous, much more working age people, because it is still around the lunch hour. So there's actually quite a few people in the streets. Most people are headed back to work by this point, but they are still in the streets. And yeah, you're still following her?
I'm still following.
Okay.
Call's sick of only having half answers to things, like going to a place and conveniently and like finding a group of people, but we don't actually know if these people are the people. We would just, could be assuming incorrectly. So Call's like, I want to know things. I want to know concrete things.
We love it. Give me
Call doesn't like suppositions.
Okay, couple things.
Okay.
You progress through the industrial district for a little bit, just a couple minutes. She starts slowing heavily and then starts darting into alleys. So first, a perception check.
Okay. Damn it. Only a 13.
Well, she's darting into alleys, but she's not doing it well. So you are able to keep track on her. Now give me another stealth check.
Oh. All right, let's see. That would be another 17.
All right. She is looking around frequently, darting into alleys. She looks like she's trying to lose a tail. But also, due to the training you've had with Zerka, you know the difference between trying to lose a tail because you know you have one, and trying to lose a tail because you know its policy.
Okay.
So she is doing this because she is getting close to wherever she's going, and she knows she's supposed to.
Okay.
You're able to tell that much. Like you are certain that she never like looks dead at you and knows that you're following her.
Okay.
So you continue following for a little bit while longer. Also, at this point, I need a survival check.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just it's the only thing I can think of to use in this situation.
Oh, you're fine.
Like we know what survival checks mean. It's just so funny thinking she turns around and one shots
you die.
Right?
If you fail this check, you no longer survive.
Okay. Mod 20.
Okay. I remember your speech from before, but I'm going to go ahead and say you're getting very close to the half a mug.
Okay.
And that's what the survival check was, is because you're not coming at it from a direction that you normally come at it from.
Gotcha.
So, but as you approach, you're like, I recognize that building. I recognize that building. I know that street. We are very close to it. Do you continue to follow her?
Yes, Call wants confirmation and not supposition.
All right. Yeah, it's fucking killing me. Um, okay. Last round. Give me perception check.
Don't
Sorry, I
jinx me,
didn't-
Asher.
I know, I didn't realize you had another one. I'm sorry.
16.
That's
Yeah.
still higher, like, ridiculous. Ridiculous
They
that that's
get
a low
a
roll.
+10.
Fucking ridiculous.
Give me stealth.
Call loses her.
No. No. You give me a stealth check.
Oh. I thought you were talking to your own dice. God fucking damn it, Nat 1! You
Nat
jinxed
one?
me, Asher! You
sorry.
jinxed me! Nat fucking 1!
I didn't realize that you had to make more rolls. God damn, you rolled like 20 times.
I know!
This is a long trip of constant attempted perception and constant attempted stealth.
I'm not criticizing you, Ben. I'm just saying.
As she darts into another alley, you follow behind her, and as you round the corner, she is leaned against the wall right there.
Excellent!
Yeah.
Excellent!
She makes eye contact with you very briefly, and then her eyes go to the ground, and she pulls a pair of rings out of a pocket, and starts kind of messing with them. It just looks to be some kind of toy.
I think that... Okay, so at this point, Call is going to actually just kind of put their hands up and lean against the opposite wall.
Okay. She does not look up at you. She is very focused on these two little rings that she's like pulling at. They're like interlocked, and she's like pulling at them. And then she'll twist one a little bit and then pull at them. She very pointedly does not look at you.
Okay. I think... Okay. So Call's gonna give it a minute. And then... I think they're gonna say... Before you send anybody after me, I think it was a good thing that you did getting everybody out of there.
I already have your thing pulled up. She is trying real hard to hide it, but you see a little bit of blush in her cheeks.
Call is also gonna say, also, I could stand to learn a thing or two from you when it comes to stealth. You are way better than I was even last year.
She's got kind of long, shaggy hair, and she looks up at you like through her hair. And you can just barely see a kind of pointed, toothy grin. Also, I will say, the building you're leaning against is the half a mug.
Okay. Call's gonna say, I am happy to leave and just go on my way. I would like to ask a couple questions. You don't have to answer, and I will leave. Is that okay?
She looks side to side, and Uh, she's pulling at the rings, like she stopped twisting them, and she is just pulling at them, where they're kind of strained on each other. Um, and she gives a really small nod.
All right. Call's gonna say, was the attack meant to be that big?
Um, give me a perception check.
13.
The hair in front of her eyes just kind of barely swishes back and forth side to side.
Call's gonna kind of just nod very slightly and say, I hope it worked. I hope it worked. They're going to think for a minute about their next question.
When you say "I hope it worked," her head raises a little bit more, and she gets a fuller view of your face.
I think at this point, Call's gonna say, okay. Sorry, I don't think as fast on my feet as Ben does. I think Call's gonna say, yeah, I mean, I was homeless for a long time. I've heard stories from all across the country about shitty landlords, shitty prices, costs of living. I never had to pay for that because I never had a roof, but it's sickening what some people can do. And then I think Call's gonna say, by the way, when you're trying to hunker down low, you might have to hunker down a little lower. The tips of your horns were visible earlier.
They're new.
Really? Call's gonna smile and just say, like, I think they're really pretty. My friend likes to hide his, but I think they're really pretty.
She turns her face to the side, and she says, "Pedo was a shit, and he deserves what he got. But you should get going." And she kind of twists one of the rings just a little bit, and the two separate.
Call is going to go, nice to meet you, and then just kind of try to. Okay, are the buildings wood?
No, they're stone. You're in
Okay,
the industrial district.
That's true. I figured as much. So in that case, Call is going to not run, but Call is going to walk with purpose as if they're late to get back to work.
All right. Give me a stealth check.
15.
Okay. I have to. Uh, all right. Where are you headed?
The long way back to the courtyard.
Okay. All right. Give me a perception check.
Okay. I think Call's also gonna like stop in an occasional shop or two, or not like stop, but kind of, take a minute to peruse and then come back out so the meandering looks like they're shopping and not just.
Okay. I will say there aren't really shops in the industrial district.
Well, I
If-
meant like as they get further
So
out.
okay. Yeah.
If
So
if they
once you
make it
get
that
into
far out.
yeah. So you're gonna try to do that once you're in the merchant district. There are
Yes.
some like side of the road little food stalls and such that you're passing that you could be looking at, but they're not like selling items, they're selling food.
Yeah. Okay. Call's not going to start meandering until they're out of the industrial district, and then when Call starts to take a more circuitous route through the merchant district towards the courtyard, that's when they're going to start like doing a little bit of meandering.
Right. Give me
You said perception check?
yeah, give me 2 of them.
Okay, first one is 24. Second is 15.
Second was 15.
Yeah.
Once you are in the merchant district, kind of starting to look around, you notice a human man who is keeping tabs on you. Looks to be about mid-20s.
Okay.
Draft dodger. There's no human men in this city. What?
I love that. Okay.
Get in your face. I'm sorry.
Call is honestly going to just kind of continue to wander the merchant district for a while at this point to see if he is intent on following Call to their destination, or if he is like gets bored and just gives up the tail.
Give me 1 second. All right. So he sticks around for a little while. So like you're not. Are you still progressing towards the keep, or are you just like hanging out to see if they're gonna stick with you?
At this point, solidly hanging out in the merchant district. Will occasionally buy a random item.
Okay. Give me another perception check.
Okay. 25.
Okay. So you notice him enter a building across the street that has like a big window that faces yours. And like you're sitting there waiting for him to look at you through that window, but you don't see him. Like there's some people in that window, and with a 25, you do notice that there is a dwarven woman who keeps peeking out the window, but you don't see the human man at all.
Okay. What is the building?
That the man went into?
Yeah.
It is a tavern that... No, it's not a tavern. Tavern wouldn't have a window. It's like a little knick-knack shop.
Okay.
Where it doesn't have... I'm trying to think of a name for it now. You know what? Just because I can't think of anything else right now, it's called Bits and Bobs. You are in You know what? I'm gonna say that you're in the bronze gear place.
Love that. Okay. I think Call is going to continue this continue what they're doing, but at this point slowly start making their way towards the keep.
All right. One more time, give me a perception check. This is like as you start going, like once you leave the area a bit. Did perception check?
What is happening right now?
Babe, I don't know if you know, but you're muted.
I said make a perception check, and then I was really
okay.
confused when you didn't. I was like, roll the
Okay.
dice.
Still
And I was
rolling?
sitting here like, why isn't Ben telling me anything? 22.
After just a little while, you notice the dwarven woman following you.
Nice. Okay. Honestly, at this point, Call is doing this for just the info gathering factor on who the tails would be, because the likelihood of them being able to get into the keep is not that great, and since Call was in store guard colors earlier, I feel like it's not a hard educated guess on where Call would eventually be going. So Call's not trying to be like, oh no, they can't know where I live. Call's gonna be like, okay, who is following me and how committed are they? So okay, at that point, I think Call is going to
Real quick, are you trying to hide the fact that you have spotted them?
I think the closer to the keep Call gets, the less likely they are to do that. So before they're like super close to the keep, I'd say there's still
Are you trying to hide it enough to make a deception roll?
no.
Okay. Then okay. After a little bit, you look back and they're no longer following you.
Okay. At that point, Call is going to make a moderately less meandering way back to the keep. They're probably going to stop in one or two more shops just to not give it up entirely, but they're going to make a more direct way back to the keep.
Alright.
And then head to the courtyard to see if, after all of this time, if Henry and Bren are still there, or if they went, well, Call's dead, better go tell Zerka.
So it would if y'all immediately went. Well, first of all, Henry would have gotten there probably 15, 20, 30 minutes before Ren. It's been nearing 40 minutes since Ren has gotten there.
Cool.
When Henry got back to the keep, I think he went and changed out of his like blood-stained clothes, and then went and got Truffle and took Truffle into the courtyard to play in the grass and the flowers and just kind of like relax.
That's cute.
Fun when you vanished.
Oh, that's on purpose. I have learned that my iPad or laptop closed thing only works while my laptop is plugged in, and therefore we have run into the crucial issue of I cannot plug in both my laptop and my iPad at the same time. So I'm about to transition fully back to the laptop. So that is why.
We need a power strip for over there then.
No, it's not the power strip that's the problem. I have a power strip. It's just that I don't have a cord long enough to be able to reach from the power strip to the iPad on the stand and to also reach the laptop. Apple
There are
is
ways to fix
a
that.
monster and sells aggressively short cables for fucking everything because they
Oh,
hate
it's
you.
Apple, yeah.
Yeah. It's because Apple hates you. It is USB-C though, so it shouldn't be that hard.
I mean, Apple sells longer cables for about the same price, I'm pretty sure now.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait a
I just
second.
made...
Like the out of the box one is very short though, you're right.
Yeah. And I was like, I just don't have to pay for it. Oh, well, okay.
That's gay.
It is.
Your spouse loves you.
You're already using that for your laptop. I'll go ahead and transition it.
I'm charging my laptop right now.
I'm already in the process of retransitioning, so we'll figure this out for next session. Thank you, Jenny.
Hey guys, do y'all want to buy Viewbots? Because we just got an ad for them.
Woohoo! Alright, I'm gonna disappear for a couple of seconds while I pop into the laptop.
While we're on a tiny break, I'm going to just tell y'all about something in D&D Beyond. You can, so it's actually a fairly common mechanic for a monster to be able to do damage to you, like necrotic damage to you, and then reduce your HP max by that amount. So there is actually a temporary HD max reduction option within within D&D Beyond. So I did that for Call. I reduced your max by the 12, so you're at 25 of 25 right now. But yeah, if you just like click on your hit points down in the bottom left, there's a little option for it. All right. So as we were, what was Ren doing for the 40 minutes they were waiting for Call?
Honestly, sitting there very politely and watching Truffle play. Just sitting in the courtyard.
Okay.
A little bit antsy.
All right. Go ahead.
I think Henry like notices, but also like knows that Ren's not going to talk about it, and so he's like making up for it by filling the air with just like silly, fun chatter, trying to like distract Ren, and just like
Of Henry.
and then, like when it doesn't work because because Call's not there, Henry's like, okay, switch to another topic.
Henry, go ahead and roll performance for me.
Yes. Okay, what's my? I think it's a +6.
Really?
No, +3.
Okay.
No, I don't have proficiency in that. I have it persuasion. It's a mod 20.
Mod 20. I think that's good. I think you are able to just distract Ren, at least intermittently. Um, that being said, call does finally arrive um, after those 40 minutes pass. And
I feel like Ren and Henry probably both tackle Call to the ground. uh, at least go up to them very, hey, you're here. What happened? At least that's what Henry does, I should say.
Ren is gonna kind of give Call like the "Are you okay?" look, and then kind of wait for elaboration on what they've been doing for the last 40 minutes.
Call is going to walk up to Ren and smack him. Not hard, but smack him.
Where arm,
And-
face?
Original plan. No. I'm going to say actually somewhat hard on the arm. Like, an actual, like, hey, I'm mad at you. And is going to say, you were reckless and you almost died. Why? That was unnecessary and you faced consequences. What were you thinking?
Fascinating. Ren looks angry for a second, like not appreciating getting hit. Then just kind of, he's cool, he's cool. Actually does like pause for a long moment and says, I'm sorry, I should be more careful. And that's pretty much it right then.
Okay, Call's gonna kind of heave a deep sigh and just be like, I shouldn't have hit you, I'm sorry. You've had a very difficult day. And from the beginning. But you need to be more careful with your own life. And I know that sounds hypocritical. I know. But if you feel that strongly about our lives, you need to feel that strongly about yours.
Ren knows this is a bad response. He can't really help it. He just starts kind of hysterical giggling. Like just giggling, just laughing. Just Ren is just laughing. Like meltdown kind of. Yeah.
Call's gonna reach out and see if it's okay to touch. Is Henry doing the same?
I think Henry, as soon as Henry hears that, he's like, how's Call gonna react to that? Because that's a pretty normal in shock reaction, but not everybody can realize that, and Call seems very upset, and so Henry's like ready to step in between them if something bad happens.
That's fair. So Call's gonna see if like they could touch Ren, or if Ren's gonna be like, "Do not fucking touch me right now."
Uh. Okay. Playing this like character realism right now. Ren has had a very fucking horrible day. As soon as Call reaches out, Ren kind of like grabs onto their sleeve and just kind of clings. And then takes a deep breath and lets go. And kind of recovers a little bit. You're right. I'm sorry.
Call's gonna nod a little bit and test out kind of holding Ren's sleeve by the corner, see if that's good or bad. And say, I have a lot to fill you in on. Why don't we go inside? And is also gonna like at that point kind of like look at Henry and be like, how are you reacting right now?
Henry's like squatted down with both hands out.
Yeah.
Henry is just ready to literally dive into the middle and be like, okay guys, friends.
Yeah. Henry had readied an action to pounce in between with hugs. But when that didn't happen, he didn't move.
Just to kind of like put this into perspective, like Ren had a dream in which he lived somebody else's death. Kind of touched on his own, previous near-death experience during that, and then had 2 near-death experiences in quick succession a few hours later. Ren is not doing real hot, okay?
I did not come into session mentally prepared with where Henry would be. I probably need to take a second and figure that out.
Being careful with your own life, and Ren is like, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, and here Call isn't thinking about like the relationship of Ren's first thing, but like Ren did tell Call how their morning started, or how his morning started, and so Call is sitting here like, I get you've had a bad day, but almost dying doesn't help. And almost dying due to negligence doesn't help. So that was Call's perspective on that. But I think if Ren does not shake off Call's like very gentle hold corner of sleeve like child, I think Call's gonna be like kind of like start walking towards Ren's room.
It's like dragging him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ren's still kind of looking like he's just kind of vacant now, and he's just gonna kind of follow like, okay, you were going to my room, just like, yeah, all right.
Okay. Do we get to Ren's room without Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think as they walk up, Henry takes Ren's other hand, just full holding hands because, and says, I almost didn't have enough to heal you. I know you already know, and I know Call already said this, but I just wanted to say I might not have enough to heal everyone next time. So we have to be careful.
I think Ren's still in that mode of like just like nodding and like just the little, cookie cutter, I'm sorry, I'll be more careful kind of thing. That's just what he's doing right now.
Yeah, Henry just like squeezes Ren's hand, is not expecting any sort of response or anything. Also, I'm gonna say that Henry didn't notice that Call got as hurt as they did, because I didn't realize it, and so I'm saying that Henry didn't either. So if Call is at all still salty about Henry not healing him, Henry doesn't even fucking know. Also, he still has a
Call's
little
still
bit of the.
salty.
Henry has no idea. And if he picks up on the saltiness, he's like, why is Call salty at me? What's going on?
At this point, Call is regretting being salty at Ren because Ren is like collapsing in on himself. So Call's like, I may have feelings, but maybe I'm not in the state to like react with them at the moment. So maybe let's table the salt.
We all have big feelings right now.
Apparently. So assuming we get to Ren's room without incident, then
Ooh. I'm gonna say Henry is the only one aware enough to make a perception check on the way.
Okay. Okay,
Fun.
that was pretty good. Is it +2? I should really memorize my own
Pretty sure it's
stats.
at least a +3 for your
think it-
perception.
Nope, it's +2 because it's wisdom. Mod 20.
Oh, because you're not proficient. Mod 20.
Not proficient in it.
20 is pretty good. I'm gonna say that by now we're well after lunch. And the halls have calmed down a lot since this morning. Most anyone who is like in a class now is more like of a higher level. And so a lot of people that don't actually live on university grounds but are just attending have already like left. So it has cleared out a lot from this morning. And 20 is good. I'm going to say that you actually see someone you have never met before. It is a goblin man who has this shock of white hair that looks as if he was electrocuted recently because it's all standing on end. You see that he is missing 2 fingers on his left hand. And he is carrying a cane that very much looks like a walking cane, but it is like parallel to the ground, holding it in his hand, just walking down the hallway with it.
And he's like, that guy looks cool. Doesn't do anything about it though.
All right.
Do they like pass him in the hall? Like, are they like passing ships or?
I will say if they ever are like near to you with these perception checks, there's insane hallways and stretches when you are traveling through university grounds. So usually when I just mention it, you like look down a hallway and they're walking in another hallway. If they ever are like close enough for you to hear them talk or something, I will let you know.
Okay. So, I guess assuming at that point we have made it to the room.
Yes.
I think Call's going to look around the room to see if Pier is there, and if she's not, ask Ren if he wants to summon her.
She is sleeping on the windowsill. The window's closed, so she's not gonna like fall out, but she's just being a little weasel and just enjoying the sun.
If in that case, I think Call is going to carefully scoop the little weasel and deposit her with Ren. And apologize again for slapping him.
Yeah, ooh. Yeah, I think Pier is around neck, like tiny little neck pillow, airplane pillow.
Airplane pillow.
Airplane pillow is a weasel. Yeah, I think when Ren is reminded that Call slapped him, he doesn't say anything.
Kala is not going to be forgiven anytime soon for this.
Mm-mm. So we're not friends and we're all mad at each other.
No, Henry immediately tries to diffuse the situation when when that interaction happens. He's like, "So," and just like talks about something completely random and off topic.
This is also making Call a little bit mad, but like Call has established that they are not in a great spot to do anything about this because Call is sitting here realizing that like Ren is like upset and Call's like, "Oh, okay, so you can blow the fuck up at me, but I can't return the favor." Okay. But Call's not going to act on that. um so I think in that point Call's just going to be like, "Okay, should I save the update for another time?" And just kind of like prepare to leave.
No, I think the update would be good. Are we?
Okay. Um in that case, Call is going to take a perch away from or like take a perch at the windowsill and probably like cross their arms and like lean up against the windowsill and um recount their experience with the tiefling girl and Petal. Call is going to mention pretty much all of the exchange, is not, however, mentioning any of the like passing, like, more like social comments that they had with the tiefling girl. So isn't gonna bring up the like, um, oh, I traveled around, blah blah blah, and like the oh yeah, my friend, those kinds of comments. So those do not come up, but everything else does. Call also gives kind of special focus on her training, location, how the dodging seemed rote, and rings that she was playing with.
So the tavern is definitely a place of interest.
Has Ren recounted what he saw when he was invisible?
No, he didn't. He forgot about that for a second. Uh, whew.
I think Henry asks, like after Call gives their update, he's like, "Well, did either of y'all see anything when you were invisible?"
Yes. I was in Petal's office after you left, Henry, and he came back in. Um, Before he came back in, I went through the ledger and I found the name of the person who was renting the building across the street. And then you didn't give me that,
I
but
didn't give you that.
you did do that.
The Bristols.
The Bristols? Bristol?
Yes.
Nice.
It. Yeah. You know that it is a husband and wife with no kids.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Ren passes that on. They were the ones with their names on the just the ledger for that address. And Petal came back in. He went through the ledger and started scratching out rent prices and rewriting them much lower even lower than they had been 6 months ago. And then he was very, very much in a hurry. Called thank you for the distraction so I could get out, and he picked up a bag of money and left.
So I guess it did work.
They were okay, the rents were lower. So I feel like that pretty heavily confirms the man that Pierce saw in the tavern that paid 5 gold, I believe.
It was the halfling who had paid 5 gold, was talking about the rent being raised too much. I'm not sure that this was the same landlord. Like, that's not confirmed that it was even the same landlord they were talking about, but it's definitely a similar situation. Very likely the same situation. It'll be 5 gold and it'll be once, is what she said, and I still don't know exactly what that means.
I mean, I assumed it would cost 5 gold to hire the light hands to get the landlord to lower their prices, which if your community all contributes, I mean, you could probably do that, get it.
If it was the whole community, then and it would probably have to be several people, because if they had 5 gold, they wouldn't be quite as worried about the rent prices.
But it also wasn't paid up front, so they could pay it over time out of the savings from the lowered rent. So I guess I wonder how long the light hands let a debt go for.
It's a good question. Well, I do think this might impact our plans to go back to the half a mug within the next few days. They definitely know me now.
Henry like laughs, like belly laughs. It's like, oh, I don't. They probably don't. They probably won't recognize you. You were, I don't think you did anything of note.
Ren actually does the little laugh where you're just kind of smiling and just, yeah. But so yeah, good job, Call, says Jenny.
I think after communicating what needs to be communicated, I think Call's gonna try and get the hell out of Dodge, because it is not subtle that Ren is not happy with them, and so the last thing that they want to do is just hang out in Ren's room while Ren's upset. So I think Carl's going to make their excuses and kind of like tap Henry as they're leaving, and just kind of give them like a tilted head look, which is going to be like, hey, can you like check up on him, without actually having to say anything, and hope that like Henry gets the message.
Henry, give me an insight check.
I was gonna say Henry was planning on sticking to Ren like glue, but I will give you an insight check to see.
This if you're
Over
planning
20.
on doing it anyway,
Yeah.
over 20? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you also know that Call
23.
wants you to. Aside from
Yeah.
wanting to do it yourself, you know that Call wants you to do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Henry stays in Ren's room. Okay. Are y'all?
So when Call leaves, where is Ren in the room?
Probably sitting on the end of his bed or something, just playing with Pierre a little bit.
I think Henry goes and sits next to Ren, um, and also is playing with Pierre and like takes something shiny out of his pocket and is like, you know,
Oh,
yeah,
Pierre's
just
into
being
that.
yeah, it's like, oh, do you like this? And like makes it like shine in the light, and so and then makes like a little light like on the reflection on the wall to see if she'll like chase it, and um, just kind of plays in silence for a while, and then um, just kind of says, "Do you want to talk about it?"
No, thank you.
Okay.
It's really okay, Henry. You don't have to babysit me. I'm okay. He kind of like leans against Henry's shoulder, like bumps shoulders to show like it's appreciated, but like
Hmm. I want to be here with you, but if you want to be alone, then I will leave. We
oh
don't
no.
have to talk. We don't have to talk about anything serious. We can just talk about silly things or don't have to talk at all. We could go to the library. We could go get food. But I want to be with you.
Yeah, let's go to the library.
All right. And I think Henry gives Pierre the little like shiny rock or whatever it is and puts Pierre around Ren's shoulders like the little pillow they were before. And it's like, let's go.
Hey.
And writing too much fanfic. Henry offers Ren his arm before they leave.
After.
I think he does that. And he's like, "Why am I doing this?" But like, doesn't take his arm down. It's just like, and then after it's awkward for a second, he puts his arm down and is like, "Let's go," and pretends like it never happened.
Oh goodness. No, it actually does look amused at that, but like, yeah.
Well, is Orin in the library? Is that a
Uh,
stupid question?
just a second. Where is Call headed?
Back to the barracks,
Just to chill?
just to rest for a little bit. They're not going to talk to Zerka immediately.
Alrighty. Orin is in the library because it's the library and it's Orin. Um, he does look to have just gotten there, though. Um, like he is. I will say he's not even at his little table with his books yet. He is wandering the stacks. You're muted. You're muted. There you go.
Sorry, did you say that he had just got there? Are there some books on the table though?
No, he is like he is
Okay.
still searching the shelves
Okay.
before even coming to the table.
I think Henry goes like, "Do you want to go say hi to Orin, or do you want to look for something?"
I had a question, Ben. So as far as like, there's like a restricted section in the library, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does Ren have permission to get material from there?
You haven't before, and you haven't been told explicitly that you can. You also haven't been told explicitly that you can't.
Best educated guess for like Ren, like where his status in the Mage Tower, does he think that he could get away with it?
Um,
Like, would it be like, like on the scale of like, teacher, can I go to the bathroom? Of course you can, just go. Or like, I'm getting away with this. I'm doing it because you didn't tell me not to. Um, like between those,
it is
where is it?
certainly not the teacher, can I go to the bathroom? It's not that, because it's the restricted section. I'll put it this way. Barnabas does not have a lot of students. You know that Barnabas's students, many of Barnabas's students, which there are not many, but many of them have further access than most. Counteractive to that, you have only been here for a year. And also, I think that this is the kind of barrier that Ren would have in his mind. It is something he has not done before.
That is very fair. Ren definitely wants to go. He definitely wants to go to the restricted section. Um,
Are you bringing Henry with you, or are you sending Henry into the stacks?
um, he'll kind of pat Henry on the shoulder, like, yeah, could you check on Orin? I gotta go see something. So,
Yep, absolutely.
okay. So, yeah, Ren will go to the restricted section.
Ooh.
Okay, so as you approach, um, so there is a big, heavy, solid wooden door that it's pretty dark in this area because there aren't windows close to this door. But it sure does look like that whole fucking door is steel wood. Um, and there's no one like outside of the door standing guard to it.
Okay. He pushes on the door.
It opens.
Okay. Ren walks in.
Okay, give me a perception check.
9.
Okay. What are you looking for?
He's looking for stuff on interdimensional travel or communication.
Okay. Are you trying to be sneaky? Or are you just brazenly walking the halls?
Slight sneaky.
Give me a stealth
Slight
check.
sneaky. Like he's like sort of browsing as he passes through stuff, but he's like headed towards like the interplanar stuff.
Okay. But like, are you? If there were another person in the room, are you trying to not let them see you?
Yes, because that's Ren.
Okay. Give me a stealth check then.
Oh. 21. Like it's not like he's trying to just be like hide altogether and stuff like that. He's just trying to not look suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. Like, yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah. Okay.
Stealth is still stealth, but like, I know there are different kinds of stealth. You're trying to not draw attention to yourself, not completely remain unseen. Okay. Uh, things aren't super well labeled, so go ahead and give me an investigation check.
That's a nat 1.
Um, 10 minutes go by and you have not found anything even sort of resembling interplanar travel or discussions on interplanality or anything. That's probably not a word.
Okay, he is definitely not going to be asking for help on this one. Um, he's going to devote a little bit more time to it.
Okay. Give me another stealth check, please.
19.
All right. I mean, if you're gonna keep roll well, then you'll keep getting to roll investigation checks.
Okay. And there is a 10.
Okay. On a 10, you are finding some stuff that is talking about the planes at least. Um, are you going to grab some books and make a run for it, or are you going to try and be more specific about finding a specific book?
He'll take what book he can see, but then kind of stand and read. Like he doesn't want to like shuffle things around too much or like study back out at the tables or anything.
Okay. Um, so you take a book from the shelf.
Yes.
Okay.
Because like even if he doesn't, he probably wants at least a primer on the planes and stuff like that. He probably needs some more foundational knowledge to begin with.
Okay. Roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
Okay. Saving throw. Okay. 18.
Okay. Um, you feel something happening as you pull the book off the shelf. Um, something goes into you, like some kind of energy enters your hand where you're grabbing the book. But you pull it off the shelf and it kind of gets into your arm a bit and then slacks off and goes away. You feel like whatever effect was going to happen to you did not take hold.
Okay. Ren gives the shelf a nasty look, but then like looks through the book.
Give me an investigation check.
Come on, sweet boy. 18.
Okay. Also give me a stealth check.
16.
Um, okay. You said 18 on the investigation check. The book that you have grabbed is discussing just the planes in general. You see a map that doesn't make sense to you because it shows the material plane, which you know to you yourself to be on, uh, but it's not Tereviri. Um, it's lands that you don't know. Actually, go ahead and give me a history check.
It's another one.
Then I will not make that Google search. Um, yeah, you're looking at this and you're like you do actually find a place on the map that says Faerun, but it's not Faerun. Um, not Faerun as you know it. But there's certainly nothing marked Katugar. You're searching for other countries and they're not there. I will say the material plane area of this map is fairly small, so like there's not cities listed or anything. But it's a bit of a weaving map and it shows where the different planes connect. And but it's kind of more illustrative than like map as in go here to find this. Um, and it's a pretty expansive map. Shows how Shadowfell and the Feywild are opposites but connected. Um, Let me hang on. I gotta find the actual fucking map.
Penny has seen the map in the the D&D book.
Is it in the handbook or the DMG?
Something.
I think
I've
it's in
seen
the
at least
DMG.
something similar. Yeah.
New. Maybe here. Maybe here. Map of the plains. Where are you? Um. Here we go. Yeah. So it is
That one.
slightly more detailed. It's a little bit bigger than that. So there are like actually countries listed on the material plane. Um, uh, but that is what you see. Uh, you don't find anything about planar travel other than this map seems to kind of make it look like if you knew how, you could just walk to certain planes, and certain planes are connected to other certain planes and such.
Okay. Yeah. For now, like, if all Ren can get is like a primer on the planes that he hadn't gotten from Barnabas or anything, he would at least just take that.
All right. So you're going to take the book. So
Oh,
you're
not literally.
no.
Not
Okay.
literally.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
he will
So
put it back.
put it back. Okay. You look for anything else, or on your way, or are you on your way out?
He'll look a little bit longer.
Okay. Stealth check. Never mind.
11.
Never
Never
mind.
Never mind. No stealth check?
I mean, yes, you made your stealth check, but the people looking for you rolled a nat 1, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Okay, cool. I was ready to accept nat 20. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fair, but okay.
No, if it was a nat 20, I'd do the math out on it, but yeah. So yeah, roll your investigation check.
Mod 20.
Okay. Staying in the same area, you are looking at the shelves and you see a title on one of the books that talks about the title is The Planes and How They Interact.
Okay. Ren wants that one.
Okay.
Will save?
You take it off the shelf?
Yep.
Okay. Will save.
16.
Okay. You take 2 points of psychic damage. And you know how Mind Spike feels as far as knowing where someone is. You feel it in reverse.
Oh, he doesn't like that. He immediately puts the book back.
Okay. You still, even upon returning the book, you still feel it. You hear footsteps coming from the door that you entered in, coming quickly.
Ren decides that he has nothing to hide.
Okay. Praetor Paramount Tara rounds the bookshelf to see you standing there, and not quiet footsteps. Praetor Paramount being a Loxodon, approaches you and looks pretty angry, and then there's a look of realization in her face, and she like holds her hand up like she's about to yell at you while wagging her finger in your face, and stops for a second.
Ren looks surprised and completely innocent.
Make a deception check. As you do, she does a sign in the air that you have been around Henry when he casts Sending. You recognize from when Henry uses the pearl that he got. And she mutters under her breath for a brief time. Sorry, what was your deception?
Nat 20.
Nat 20. She's standing there waiting for a second, looks at you, and her head cocks a little bit, and you see a little bit of doubt in her eyes. Then one of her ears kind of twitches a little bit, and then the doubt leaves immediately. And she says, "You should have at least talked to him first."
Ren looks very embarrassed. What would he say? I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
You see her bring up a glowing blue hand, and she points it towards you for a second and closes her fist, and the feeling of that like mind spike goes away.
Okay.
She says, "You will need to leave, and you will need to speak with Master Barnabas."
Okay. Thank you very much.
She steps out of the way to let you go to the door.
Okay. Ren walks out of the restricted section.
She follows you all the way to the door and out of it.
Okay. Like, out of the library, or is he like...
Just out of the restricted section, and then watches
Okay.
you walk away from the door.
Okay. Yeah. Is Henry still out there?
Yeah, Henry's just chatting with Orin about like Henry asked Orin how he was and what he was looking for, and Orin is chatting about things that Henry does not understand at all. But Henry's just nodding like, "Uh-huh. Oh, really? Oh, tell me more." Just letting Orin talk.
Orin does mention that he like just came from a lesson with Galdanus.
I think he would have asked about like, "Oh, well, what'd you learn?"
What you said earlier.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. Like, I don't even need to make an intelligence check. I'm just assuming.
Yeah. Especially like what he's learning with Galdanus, not something you understand. If you
Cool.
had like proficiency in alchemy tools, then we would talk. So yeah, Ren, you do see Henry at the table with Orin doing the little nerd shit thing that he can do of reading two books and talking to Henry at the same time.
I think that surpasses nerd thing. That he's just that good. Yeah. I think Ren will like kind of pat Henry on the shoulder and say, "Sorry, I have to go talk to Barnabas."
Yeah.
Master
Okay.
Barnabas is what Ren says.
Yeah. Like,
Sorry,
I think.
the principal's
Can I make an
office.
insight check? Can I make an insight check on Ren? Just because Henry's like, okay. Looks Ren over like, "How are you? Are you okay? What just happened?" Ugh, this is 7.
Okay.
Lame. What do I get on a 7?
Ren looks like Ren.
Henry
Which
still
is
looks worried. I'm
extraordinarily
like,
unreadable.
Well, Ren looks for Henry Ren's for Henry Ren's not trying to hide it very much. To anyone else, yeah. To Henry, Ren's like kind of like I'm a little annoyed. I'm slightly annoyed at the current circumstances, but everything is okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I think Henry would have, because proficiency in friendship. Henry knows Ren.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. And so he'd be like, okay, be safe. He doesn't say, what does he say? He says,
Don't die.
Henry doesn't feel confident enough to be that sassy, right? In this moment. It's like,
Don't have another near-death experience.
okay, don't let him stop you to death with his hooves.
He doesn't say that.
He doesn't say that. All right, good luck. And then turns back to listen to whatever Orin's talking about.
Speaking of Orin, Orin rolled a bit better, but also Orin's gonna keep his business to himself. All right, so you head to see Master Barnabas. All right. Okay. The little magical barrier that you have seen before is not there, being the middle of the day. And you approach his office.
Ren knocks on the door. I also think that Ren would have left. Oh, Ren would have left the ring in the lead box
Okay.
this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um. You hear. There's still notably hoofbeats, but they're much softer than normal. And when Barnabas opens the door, he sees you and where is the man's dice? It's here.
I like the dice tower.
It's so nice. I love it so much. It was my Father's Day present. I love it. He looks you over briefly. You do notice that he has like leather wraps around all four of his feet. That I mean, just no, not his typical hooves.
Daytime hoofwear.
Not even that, because you've seen him during the day. But these look especially soft. But he stands to the side to allow you in.
Okay. Yeah, Ren steps in. And probably a customary, how are you today, Master Barnabas? Oh my god.
Today had started rather well. I had a better sleep last night than I have been having in a while. I was not expecting the contact from Praetor Paramount that I received moments ago.
Okay, Jenny asking for translation. He received something from Praetor Paramount months ago? Or he was not expecting this to happen?
Moments.
Okay, I thought you said months, and I was like, Okay.
Just randomly bringing up something that happened months ago, yes.
I was like, okay. But, yeah, Ren's gonna look, honestly, a little bit bashful and say, I wasn't sure. what the policy was. May I seek material in the restricted section, please?
It worries me that you would seek it out without permission. And frustrates me because you would have been allowed, and I would have taught you. He holds his hand up and makes a gesture that never leaves about a 1 inch space wide that he travels down. And there is a trail of silver in the air as he does it. He says, I would have taught you how to not trigger the warning on the books.
I'm sensing that is not something that is going to happen now.
He looks down at you because it is very difficult for him to not look for him to look anything but down to most people. He's a tall boy. And lets the silence hang for a while. Before saying, you've seen it, try it.
Okay, what does Ren need to roll for that?
Okay. So you can either roll sleight of hand to just copy his movements, or you can roll Arcana to try and reproduce the magical effect.
Magical effect. That's 22.
Damn. You go to do the movement. Your hand does not follow the exact pattern his did, but as you are halfway through the motion, you see that silver trail following your fingers. And then, as I said, like you don't recreate it perfectly with your hands, and so it's a bit wider than the one that Master Barnabas did. But it still creates that silver trail that hangs in the air for a moment before fading. He raises an eyebrow and then says, what were you researching?
Interplanar travel and communication. I was impatient and went in myself, and I should have come to you for permission, and I apologize.
He does a much worse job this time of hiding his expression. And just you can tell clearly on his face that is not what he thought you were going to be researching. And he just studies your face for a little bit and rolls really shitty. But after a little bit, the surprise fades and he slowly nods and says, well, the one that you grabbed would have been a good one. The books in that section are kept there for the protection of those that would read them and the protection of those who could not. Be careful. And with that, he pulls a very, very small vial not off of a belt because he doesn't fucking wear one. He reaches from a table and pulls a very small vial, unstoppers it, uh, dips a finger in and flicks it at you, and the 2 points of damage that you took, the 2 points of psychic damage, is healed.
Thank you, Dad. Barnabas is my dad.
You're my dad. Boogie
You're my dad.
woogie woogie.
Woogie, woogie.
Um, uh, is it, would you go back to the section to research more if he dismissed you right now?
Yes, absolutely. After thanking him, but yes.
Okay. You sense that he can tell that that's what your plan is. And he walks to his desk, pulls out a piece of paper, and writes down a couple titles and hands it to you.
Aw. Okay. Ren thanks him again, a little bit surprised and looking kind of relieved. But yeah, just he's genuinely grateful. But yeah, so he'll take a look at those titles, if and when he gets the chance.
Okay. I'm just gonna say I did not prepare literature on interplanar travel before this session,
That's okay.
so
I did not even give you a heads up
I'm-
about that. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna make an actual fucking note of it in my notes, and I will try to get you dash it.
Well, we're about to hit the 3-hour mark, so
We are about to hit the 3-hour mark. Either way, I'm gonna make a fucking note of it. Okay. So, is there anything anyone would like to do real quick before we wrap up, or are we gonna call it right there? What's up?
I think what Henry wants to do will take longer than.
Okay. Make a note of it. We'll do it at
Yeah.
the beginning of next section. Which will happen next Friday.
See what's going on.
that should be good for us.
It's the 22nd.
Sounds good.
There is something I wanted to talk about real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So I have written down that session 1 was on August 25th of last year. And we are
Session
getting
0.
close. I have written that
Session
session
one?
1 is on August 25th.
Oh my
I don't know. I don't have written down when session 0 was.
Ooh, I think we
but-
may have done session 0 and then jumped in, didn't we?
I don't
No?
think so. I think because
No.
we did character creation for Call, and
Mhm.
I
Okay.
had handwritten notes for session 0, and then I had typed notes for session 1.
Okay.
But that means that we're coming up on a year of playing together. And we want to come down to Houston anyway for a trip. And was wondering if we could do something for our friendiversary.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
I have
Man,
no
does this
no
just mean that I
ideas.
get the best
but-
birthday presents forever?
Yeah. So yeah, I have not
Oh my
thought
god, I
of what we
remembered
should
your
do.
birth month. I was talking to Jenny about this the other day, and Jenny was like, "When is Ben's birthday?" And I was like, "I think it's in August." And I was like, "I totally don't know where that came from," and I just rolled with it. I got it right.
I jokingly told Ash last year for my birthday, I was like, You could.
You know, it was on his birthday, and I was like,
on
well,
the day of my
I was like,
birthday.
what do you want to do? Like, do you want to go out to eat? Do you want to order in? I was like, is there anything else? Is there anything I can do for you? Because like I don't think I had gotten him anything yet, but I was like, I don't know what to get you. Like, you can buy a video game if you want, but like, he's like, well, what I want is for you to ask Bronwyn if she would want to play D&D, and if Jenny would maybe want to play too. And I was like, but social anxiety, and I don't want to ask because I'm embarrassed.
Oh no, it's a good thing you didn't, you know?
Well, because he had asked me to before, and I was like, no, what if they say no and think we're weird? And so, but it was Ben's birthday, and so I had to. I was like, okay, you want me to, I will. And then Bronwyn was like, yes, and you were like, yes, and then yeah, it was, and obviously here we are, and so it was good. It was very, very good.
So what you're saying is that this whole campaign is Ben's birthday present.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben's birthday.
But yeah.
But yeah, I'll try to think of
love
things.
that.
I think it would be fun. I don't know. If y'all want to think of things, then we'll think of things and we'll plan a trip. It probably won't be exactly on the 25th. I also need to talk to work about travel and stuff. But yeah, we should put something. We should start planning.
Fuck yeah.
Just a pitch. If anyone could have like an in-person one-shot ready. I don't like. I could possibly plan for an extended in-person session for our campaign. I could possibly do that. But it would also be really cool if we could do like a little one-shot on something.
Hey Jenny. Hey
Yes,
Jenny.
dear. Yes, dear?
You know that cute little one shot in the herbalist's primer?
Ah, yes, exactly what I was thinking about. That thing that you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? You guys want to play a bunch of mice?
Yes!
Guys?
Mice!
I want to play a
You get to say little mice. Do you remember that little pic crew we made of our characters
Yes.
as mice?
Yes!
That is wonderful.
So yeah, we could do a little one shot as mice.
I would love that.
Hey, Ben, you should make a character.
Absolutely.
Ben
Bring
gets
in
to
Ken
make a
to turn him
character.
into a mouse.
Fuck yeah, mice.
One of
Yeah,
our
it's crucial that you understand your character isn't a mouse. Your
Oh.
character is turned into a mouse.
oh
Okay. I still get to be a fucking mouse.
like
You
bibbidi
still get to
bobbidi
be
boo.
a fucking mouse. Bippity boppity boo. So you're a mouse now. You just weren't born a mouse.
Okay. Just
Trans rights.
a little bit more. A little bit more. So like, was I an adventurer who was turned into a mouse?
I guess we'll have. I mean, I'm
Or
assuming
is it like
there's
you're
more
turned into a
details.
mouse and then become an adventurer as a mouse?
That's a very good question. I need to read the thing.
More carefully,
Because
yeah.
along with that, like, if I was an adventurer and I was turned into a mouse, do I have mouse stats or do I have adventurer stats?
You got mouse stats. That's the rule. You a mouse.
You have
Can
like
you
a
imagine
12
rolling a
dexterity and
mouse
everything
attack
else is a negative modifier.
Right? Can you imagine doing a mouse attack and rolling like 3d8 damage?
Well, I would assume that whatever you're attacking is scaled, but
It depends on who the bad guys are.
Hmm.
If there are bad guys.
We shall see.
Okay, well, I think we're gonna say goodbye to Twitch. It's been fun.
Goodbye, Twitch.
Thanks for everybody that came and watched. We had 2 viewers at least.
Woo!
We did. Thank you guys for
Thanks,
watching.
guys. Bye.
Thank